All right, now that you've generated your Google form, you have this shell. This is where you can start adding questions. And over on the right-hand side here, you do get the options to import questions from another form or to add titles. But some of the main, most used pieces are going to be adding images or videos, and then of course adding different types of questions by hitting this plus button. Okay. So I do have two questions here now. By the way, you can just drag these up or down to switch them if you want to. And I'm actually going to delete this one. Within this question, this is a multiple choice question, and you do have the option to duplicate it. So if you establish like a shell of a question that you want to keep using over and over again, you can duplicate it. You can trash it, and you can also make it required. Keep in mind when you make it required, all right, if I jump out to the live form, you will see a red asterisk there making it required, and kids can't hit submit if they don't answer it. All right, so in this question, this is where you put your question, and Google Forms will try to predict what type of question you're going to ask. So if I ask like, what is your name, your first name? All right, and I always recommend asking first name and last name as two different questions. You can see that this actually automatically switched to a short answer type of question. All right. If I put something like describe where you grew up, it made it into paragraph. Now, if that's not what I wanted, I could go into here and just change these into these different types of questions. All right. So I'm going to have this as a question, describe where you grew up, and it is a paragraph style question. And I want to show you, I'm going to duplicate this because I might want to ask, what is your first name? One of the things that does come up is that what's the difference between a short answer question and a paragraph question? And the easiest way to see this is to simply jump into the live view. When you do, they look the exact same, pretty close to the same. When you do a paragraph style question, if I type a lot of content, and you might want to get in best practice to have kids type these somewhere else and then paste it in here, you can see everything you're typing. Where if I did what's my first name, if I type a long response, you'll see that I can't see the beginning of it. So just make sure the questions look the same, and if you export this to a spreadsheet, they come into the spreadsheet the same way, but just know that if you expect a longer response, make sure you pick paragraph, and if you expect a shorter one, pick short answer. All right. These other types of questions over here. All right. Multiple choice and drop down are very, very similar. With multiple choice, kids will see, or whoever's filling out the form will see all of the options. Okay. So let's do what is your favorite day of the week? All right. And we can make this multiple choice, and we can put Monday to just hit enter to get to the next line. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So for multiple choice, if I jump out to the live view, you can see that all of these options are going to be displayed. The problem with multiple choice is if you have a ton of choices, your form can get to be really long and almost kind of honestly intimidating. Maybe that's not the right word, but it can become really long. Okay. If you change this to drop down, now let's go revisit this. It makes it a lot cleaner and easier to look at. All right. There's advantages to both. Just make sure, just know why you chose the one you chose. And there's some other questions in here. Check boxes are like, what kind of toppings do you like on your pizza? File uploads, you can ask people to upload a PDF or an image file or something like that. All right. Linear scale is how much do you like the summer? 1 is not much, 5 is a bunch. And then you have these grid multiple choice questions, which read left to right, but also there's column headers as they read left to right. And there's date questions and time questions. So something like you could ask, what time can we meet? Okay. And when someone goes to fill this out, they have an option to fill out a time. Now, as you start building your form, you might find that certain questions pertain to certain topics. So what you can build in here are section breaks. Okay, so this is one section, and now I have a whole nother section here, and here in section 2, I can add another series of questions. All right, and on your form, this simply looks just like another page. So where did I grow up? What time can we meet? 2:30. And now I hit next, and this is where I get to section 2, and you can add more questions, okay, and then hit submit. The other piece here that I didn't really discuss is that inside of your questions, you do get the option to add images, okay. So I can click in here and do a Google image search for, well, let's search for a cat. There we go. All right, so now when someone looks at this picture or this form, there's that picture of the cat. You do also get the option to, instead of a cat or something like that, let me delete this. You can also add a video, all right? And in this video, you can almost do like, hey, watch this video, then ask these 5 questions. The nice thing about doing this is that you keep kids in one place, if that makes sense. They don't navigate out to YouTube. They don't navigate to another website. You're keeping them locked into this form, all right?